What's going on, guys? Hamza, a long time no see. Missed Tuesday, but we right back at it. Trade deadline show. Quick little 15-minute podcast. I catch y'all niggas next week. We on that 420. We just ate. We litty. We getting the podcast in. We lit. Yes, sir. Oh man, shit. Welcome back to episode four or five. I'm not sure. We're recording this 7:15, chilly, rainy afternoon, late afternoon in New York City. Trade deadline. I missed Tuesday's episode because not a lot of action was going on in the NBA. But we had to get right back into it on Thursday because today's on Friday because of the trade deadline. You feel me? We go right back into our usual schedule next week. But I wanted to talk trades, man. A lot of minor to mid-major moves that a lot of teams did. Orlando blew it up. We'll get into that. The Bulls acquired an all-star. Denver retooled for the playoffs. All right, so let's get into it. I wanted to first talk about the Orlando. Shout out to Orlando deciding. I think they're about 2 years late, in my opinion. They're about 2 years late about the whole blow it up their situation. They gave up Evan Fournier for 2 second-round picks. Seemed like a fair offer. Seems like a fair deal because number one, Boston gets a scorer off the bench. They've been needing somebody who could come in, give him a punch, because I don't think Pritchard is he's a good talent, but I don't think he's ready enough. So I guess he'll get his minutes. It'll be kind of confusing on how the closing lineups will be because they would have three guards on Kemba, Marcus Smart, and Evan Fournier, and I don't think all three of them can play with the two wings, Jaylen Brown and Tatum. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how Brad Stevens. But I like the addition of that. And shout out to Orlando for getting 2 second-round picks in the deal. They also traded Aaron Gordon to Denver for R.J. Hampton, Gary Harris, and a first-round pick. My opinion on that is man, I like R.J. Hampton a lot. I really do. He was with Jamal Murray and all Capazzo and Monte Morris. It was a lot of guards in Denver, and he didn't really get the opportunity to play. But in Orlando, he'll get the opportunity to play. Gary Harris, man, ever since Gary Harris got that deal, that extension, that rookie from his rookie contract, he hasn't been able to get on the court. I don't even think he's played more than like 50, 60 games, bro. Like he has not helped what they have been accomplished. He just hasn't. And in the first round pick, I thought it was a nice return. Maybe Gary Harris could revive his career. He's an Orlando type of player, the type of player plays hard defense, could shoot the three. And not Gordon Hayward, Aaron Gordon's fit in Denver. I think it's a good fit. I would have liked him in Portland with him and Covington playing the wing positions against teams like the Lakers and Clippers. I would have liked to see that. But Denver, shit, they get their own four, and they get to pair him up with Michael Porter, Jokic, Will Barton, that whole game with Jamal Murray. I think Aaron Gordon. I'm not the biggest fan of Aaron Gordon, but I do think that Orlando situation was terrible. I do think he gives your team playmaking. He gives you another playmaking option who could help create shots for others. He's also a damn good team defender, athletic, and maybe his offensive game opens up as him not being pressured to score 20 points a night that he was projected to be in Orlando. That's what they drafted him to be in Orlando. And plus, with all the injuries and stuff, I don't think we got to see the best of Aaron Gordon in the last few years, and hopefully Denver gets to bring that out of him. Orlando also traded Vucevic. They just blew the whole damn shit up, which is I'm not shocking that they did that, but to me they should have been did it. But they sold where Vucevic's value was at its highest, right? Because in that deal they got Wendell Carter Jr., who's just look. I'm a big Duke fan. I'm a big Duke fan. My favorite college in basketball, right? But the problem is he hasn't been able to get on the court and stay on the court. Like if you really look at like the bigs, like early in their career, especially that cohort. I remember Chris Vernon. He was saying on like how Bagley and Triple J, Jaren Jackson Jr., Dan Porzingis, a lot of these bigs that are they can't stay on the court. Maybe they're not obviously they're physically not ready for the NBA grind. But man, man, I don't know. Maybe he revives his career in Orlando. Maybe him and Mo Bamba they could do something in that center position for Orlando in the future. Shout out to, and they also got two first round picks, which is pretty dope. I know the 2021 first round pick that they received is top four protected. So if it lands in the top four, it goes back to the Bulls. But pretty a decent haul. You get a young player and two picks for you to move on. I know Vucevic is an all star, but this is about the value you they was probably going to get in the market, probably, right? Let quick little deals we could talk about. Philly, they got George Hill. I know they was in hot pursuit of Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry, everybody thought Kyle Lowry was gonna get traded. The Lakers had interest, but they was gonna have to blow up damn near their whole team. I'm pretty sure it was KCP, PCP. Shout out to Flight, PCP, um, Horton, Taylor Horton, Taylor Horton, and Schroeder, and probably like a second round pick for Kyle Lowry. I'm pretty sure they went to LeBron and asked him, "Yo, like, do you mind?" And he's probably like, "No, he doesn't want to decimate his team." That was a good move. Probably same thing with Philly. Yeah, it was probably too much because pretty sure they wanted Maxi and Thibault and just just a lot, and pretty good, pretty decent return from them. Pretty decent return. Pretty, shout out to them for shout out to them for not biting into that return because Philly, George Hill, he's able to shoot the three, able to play off ball, able to play defense on those smaller guards. I also like how how him and Ben Simmons they'll be able to just continue on that defensive intensity they had in the past years. Pretty dope, pretty dope. Uh, Toronto. Moving on to Toronto real quick. So Toronto they traded Norman Powell, which is I understand why they don't want to trade him. They didn't want to pay him, and they got Gary Trent, which I love Gary Trent's game. His 3-point shot, he has a little handle to him. He could play the two or the three. He defends pretty decently well. He's only 22. Out of Duke, he's a dookie. You know how we do it. And Rodney Hood. Rodney Hood. They also got Rodney Hood, who's a good role player. I I like the return. I really do like the return for Toronto. They're probably gonna lock up Gary Trent. Most likely, what's gonna happen. And Powell gets to play with Dame and CJ. They probably didn't want to give up the return that was needed for Aaron Gordon, but Aaron Gordon would have fit in really, really nicely with them. Really nicely. It would have been nice to see him and Covington defend those wings that they're probably gonna have to deal with during playoff time. But Powell, I do like Powell. He comes off the bench. He gets to play. He plays a little three. In small ball lineups, he's able to play the three. He's able to shoot. He's pretty good handle. He's able to create separation, create for others. He's a decent little player, but I'm really high on the projection of Gary Trent Jr. You know, I probably would have bit the bullet and paid him if I was Portland. Probably would have bit the bullet and moved on from like Alfred Simons or something along those lines, because they pretty much law jammed in the backcourt too. They got some nice young pieces in the backcourt. Uh, a lot of people were pretty astounded, pretty because of Rondo for Lou Will and 2 second round picks. Kind a little bit of overpay for Rondo, but we can't deny what Rondo brings to the game, bro. Like just the smartness, playoff Rondo is a real thing. If you statistically, playoff Rondo is he plays defense. Look what he did to Dame when he was in the Pelicans. Come on, the first round, those first three, like it's a thing. Playoff Rondo is a thing, and we saw in the bubble what he did. Denver, he tore up Denver. He tore up Denver. He put the clamps on Dame. They had it. He's a good asset to them. What they could be, and he's a good locker room presence. But I don't, like they gave up a perennial six man of the year and 2 second round picks like Atlanta, like pretty good flip of the deal that they signed in the summer. When people, Chris Vernon from the Ringer, yeah, he referenced on how I remember him specifically how he said Rondo took the bag, championship bag, that often players get, and he's gonna be able to get traded by the trade deadline and go to a contender, and that's exactly what happened. Shout out to Rondo for getting the bag and doing what you gotta do. Uh, and to me, one of the more interesting deals is with Oladipo, right? Like Oladipo found his way to Miami without Miami giving up Tyler Hero or Duncan Robinson. Don't know how that happens. Don't know how that happens. But for a bag of chips, what they gave up for him, Kelly Olynyk, Avery Bradley, and maybe a second round pick. I'm not even too sure because I didn't even. Once I saw like what they didn't give up Duncan Robinson or Tyler Hero, bro. What is Houston doing, bro? They could have had Karis LeVert, Jared Allen, Spencer Dinwiddie. They could. I would have even just took the Ben Simmons and then flipped Ben Simmons. Cause Ben Simmons was gonna get you a way bigger return than what Oladipo got you. You know. And now Houston got no talent in Houston except for Christian Wood. Let's just keep it real. They really don't got nobody that's going to Christian Wood. Maybe Kevin Porter. We got to see what he does. But bro, poor Steven Stylus for just walking into that situation. He probably thought he was gonna come in, coach Christian Wood, Russell Westbrook, Harden, and have him a powerhouse. It just doesn't work like that. It's unfortunate. It really is, man. It really is. But Oladipo's fit with the Heat pretty dope because he's not going to be the man with Jimmy Butler and Bam there, right? So he gets able to play into a spot. Tyler Hero gets to go back into a more comfortable role off the bench. Duncan Robinson gets to continue shooting his threes. If they're able to get it defensively, if they're able to get it right defensively, and able to see how Oladipo's fit offensively is going to be, if he's going to be more of an on-ball, off-ball player, depends. We'll see. They match up well with a lot with everybody. They match up well with a lot of people in the East. They do, and it's going to be a war to get them out the playoffs. It really is. It really is. It's going to be interesting to see how they proceed and how they look in the playoffs. And how they look in the playoffs is going to be determined factor if they pay him or not, right? Like Miami, they're not going to give him a near max for not performing in the playoffs. He wants his bag and wants to be in a good position. He has to play. He has to play. And Miami, they have a good track record. And LaMarcus Aldridge finally got his buyout. I guess San Antonio couldn't get no assets for him, which is surprising. What has LaMarcus Aldridge been for the last 2 years, right? But LA, he's going to Miami too, which is I see him just coming in, filling in that role that Olynyk had. Defensively, I'm not the biggest fan of him because he's gonna be doing that drop coverage on the pick and roll, and I'm not a big fan of him just defensively in today's game. But offensively, he's able to stretch the floor. Maybe he's able you could go to him for a go-to bucket in the clutch. Like he's gonna be able to have a role in Miami. He's still able. He still has gas in the tank. I'm not saying that he doesn't have gas in the tank. You know. And one last thing that I wanted to talk about was the Lakers, and it looks like LeBron's gonna miss a little bit more time. AD, they're not trying to mess with AD right now because of this, his lower body situation. They don't want to touch the Achilles. It's going to be really interesting to see how they move because Drummond. I don't know if they're interested in Drummond. It seems like they are. Don't know if that's gonna come into fruition. But it seems like the Lakers, they ha- if they're able to stand tall and win a few of these games, they might not be able to stay out of the playing situation, which is crazy. Imagine they lose a playing game with a banged up LA team. That would be some shit. That would be some shit off a title, but I doubt that happens. Probably LeBron and AD come back before then. But just a little tidbit to watch the Lakers situation. Just a little tidbit. Well, hope you guys enjoy this week's trade deadline show. I'm out. I'll catch y'all next Tuesday. Catch up with the deals on how they affect the teams on the court. The beginning of these guys' journeys. We'll see what's up with that. Catch you next time. Peace.